Hello, parent of a neurodivergent child. Welcome to the same topic, sex for pleasure, but for your neurodivergent child. So it's different. And some of the information they need needs to be the same. So if you want to listen to the first one, that's great. I'm just going to recap kind of what I said, and then we'll talk specifically about helping your neurodivergent child understand why people would want to have sex for pleasure. Lots of kids who are neurodivergent have sensory issues, and helping them kind of not push through that, because I never want anyone to do something they don't want to do, but maybe be able to understand why the rest of the world is maybe interested in something like this. So from an early age, from an early conversation, you should always talk about the fact that people have sex and do sexual things because it feels good to their bodies. I like to say feels good to their grown-up bodies, because I'm not into people who are 12 doing sexual stuff. So maybe with neurodivergent kids, you want to be a little more rigid, like timeliney. So you could say when people are teenagers, when they're older, when they're late teens, so they have an idea of when it's appropriate. The other piece here is that you do need to make it really clear that even though people like to have sex for pleasure, lots of people do, lots of people don't. And even telling them, lots of neurodivergent people have, don't like the idea of this because they don't like their bodies to be touched. They have, they don't like different kinds of materials or feelings or physical feelings. One place to kind of get a bead on this is how they've done through puberty. Getting pubic hair, their voice changing, getting bigger, smellier, like all those things, breast development. That's kind of an indication of how they're feeling in their skin. Not 100% in terms of the pleasure piece, but just helping them understand that their experience might be different, and that is absolutely okay. For you, sometimes parents think that because their child isn't interested, or the sex for pleasure thing grosses them out because they can't imagine touching another person, that doesn't mean they're not capable of having a sexual relationship with someone. There are lots of support and resources for people who are neurodivergent and want to have sexual relationships, and how to do that in a way that feels good to them. A lot of it includes being very slow and lots of consent, and accommodations that can include things like wearing gloves, or not touching certain body parts, or only touching certain body parts in certain ways. And there are all different ways to enjoy someone else's body and their own body, that doesn't have to be this big thing. So do you hear how slowly I'm speaking? Probably want to take the same tone with that. And I don't know if I just said this, but assuming your child's not going to be interested in sex and not going to be interested in having a romantic relationship is completely unfair to them. Most people are fully capable of having some kind of romantic and potentially sexual relationship. So, talking about it early, going slow, being reassuring that they don't have to do this, and of course, talking about consent, right? That they really need to decide if this is something they want to do, if they agree to do it, what that looks like for them, being able to communicate with their partner. So one of the things about communicating with a partner is being able to read their physical, social cues, which sometimes is hard for people who are neurodivergent because they don't get what's happening with someone's face. So someone who might be like pulling away and kind of have that like ick look on their face, they might miss that. So giving them some skills around, is this okay? Do you want to do this? Asking those kinds of questions. And you can help them with that by doing that in non-sexual situations. So talking about like, do you want to hold my hand? Well, that's kind of sexual. That's not sexual, but do you want to hold my hand? Do you want to hug? That kind of thing, where they can practice that, and get the feeling for that. So then you can say to them, so, at some point, if maybe you want to kiss someone and you're not sure, you can ask. And if they say no, it's a no. and then maybe also help them to see some body language, like a cringe, a pull away, talking about that. Now, one of the things I love about talking with you about your neurodivergent kids is that all this is relevant to, everybody, neurotypical, neurodivergent. We all need this information. And I'm also kind of curious. I'm just wondering if people listen to the neurodivergent thing when their kids aren't neurodivergent, right? Just to kind of get more information. All right, what else do I want to say to you? There was something. I can't remember what it is. Yeah, this is the casual part where I'm like, oh, hi, hey, who has a brain? Only me, only part of the time. Just a second, I'm going to pause so I can get my poop in a group. That didn't help me at all. Okay, so meeting it out, getting it out slowly, being reassuring. And one of the other things about neurodivergent people is that we know they're more likely to be queer and also have a broader, more open experience of themselves as a sexual person. And so that very well may include someone who is they might be more likely to be asexual because they can talk about it. They might be aromantic because they can talk about it. They may be only interested in romance because that feels good, right? But they don't have to do anything. And again, everybody needs to know this, but for you understanding this in a broader sense for your child, and I'm just going to circle back, don't be afraid to talk about it, and don't assume they're not interested. This is a big myth. I think I've talked about sex, love on the spectrum, and that kind of stuff. It's an interesting look at what's happening. I know it's reality TV. I know it's staged, but there's some nuggets there. Watching those folks try to figure this out, that can give you some information. All right. That's all I have to say about that. Again, if you need more help and are stuck and just can't I don't know what to do with this, please schedule a quickie with me. 30 minutes deep dive. We make a plan, I get you resources and launch you into whatever is happening for you. Okay, I think that's it. Oh, here's something. If you have a group of friends or a community of neurodivergent parents, working with your kids, I'm happy to do a small group with you, like a cohort. So if you're interested in that, just email me, show notes, information, that kind of thing. Alrighty. Okay. Good luck. You've got this. Be brave. Remember, your child is a whole person. A whole person. All right. Goodbye. Thanks.